Drove and see the nightlife where they call Atlanta. Southside shows for a couple dollars, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another live stream video edition of Maloney's Moneyline, week number 25 on the Brew Party podcast. I'm joined as always by the gorgeous, the beautiful, the incredible gambler, Ryan Maloney. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. 25 is actually my favorite number, so it's going to be a good week.
It's going to be a great week. On this episode, I hope it is a great week for our picks, because God knows I need it. I have not started off 2021 very hot. That is for sure. So before we do get into our picks, we have a couple topical sports things we're going to get into, as we tend to do on the show from time to time. So we're going to start with NFL Conference Championship weekend. In the NFC, the Packers and the Bucks, and in the AFC, the Bills and the Chiefs. Ryan, which game do you want to start with?
Well, I think everybody's looking most forward to Bills Chiefs. It's going to be a great game, so we can start there.
All right, let's start there. Bills and the Chiefs. So Patrick Mahomes has cleared concussion protocol. He is going to be playing. He still is kind of dealing with that turf toe issue. So not really 100%. He definitely didn't look 100% in the game against the Browns. And then the Bills, who have not played their best game yet in the playoffs. You know, they've had 2 wins where they've had to kind of grind it out. So what are you expecting to see going into this game, Ryan?
I think it's definitely going to be the better game of the weekend. I mean, it's, 2 of the strongest arms going up against each other, especially in a conference championship. So I think it's going to be pretty high scoring, probably a lot of deep balls. So yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, you know what they say about those deep balls. So yeah, it should be really good. This is like Josh Allen's kind of chance to prove that he's real, because he does have those moments where it's like no, yes, and it works out. And what the Bills have been able to do is Stephon Diggs, we talk about 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns on the year, the leading receiver in the NFL, really solidifying himself in Buffalo for what seems to be a long time. This is just what the Bills have been looking for a long time as well. So I expect them to lock Diggs up for a while, and he's exactly what Josh has needed. And then Cole Beasley in the slot's been great. If you jump over to the defensive side of the ball, Matt Milano at linebacker has been absolutely incredible. Ed Oliver on the defensive line, look for him to try to get some pressure on Mahomes. I really will like to see how much pressure they're going to try to bring, how much they can get to Mahomes in the backfield, especially if he's not 100% mobile, but still look for the Chiefs to bring their A game. I'm really looking forward to this one. If we jump over to the other one, the Packers and the Buccaneers. So this has been the conversation for years in the NFL is who's the greatest quarterback of all time. People say it's Aaron Rodgers based on talent. People say it's Tom Brady based on his rings and resume. So 2-part question here. In your estimation, who is between the two? Who are you taking? And then what are your thoughts on the game?
I mean, obviously I'm going with Tom Brady. Bias aside, resume speaks more for itself. I know he's obviously spent pretty much the entirety of his career with the Patriots in that incredible system, but you can't argue against him as the GOAT. I hate Aaron Rodgers, but I'll still, he's up there, obviously. Can't just ignore talent based on who you like and hate. But yeah, I'm a Michael Jordan guy, so I'm always going to say that he's the GOAT over LeBron based on resume. And I'm going with Tom Brady for that conversation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to agree with you here. I do think Aaron Rodgers is an incredible talent and transcendent talent at the quarterback position, and you could argue that the Packers haven't done much to help him. God damn, I cannot speak. with as far as putting weapons around him. Obviously, that's not the case this year. You talk about Devontae Adams, who's arguably the best receiver in the NFL, and then what Aaron Jones has been able to do in the backfield have been great. And even guys like Alan Lazard and then Marquez Valdez Scantling are stepping up. So what I expect to see from this game, I think it's going to be high scoring. I think the Bucs offense is finally kind of clicking together. And I mean, the last time these two teams played, we saw the Buccaneers win, what was it, 38-3 or some, it was a lot to a little.
Yeah.
So I know the Packers are going to have a bad taste in their mouth from that. It's in Lambeau. That's always an advantage for Green Bay. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a close one, but I think Tom Brady's kind of on a revenge tour still from last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously everybody's looking forward to watching two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but yeah, I mean, I hope the Bucs come out on top. I really don't feel like watching the Packers in the Super Bowl, but yeah, I mean, they are at an advantage being at Lambeau. Obviously, Tampa Bay is not used to playing in this freezing cold weather, so we'll see how they adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know like what I'm really expecting to see here because Tampa Bay's defense has been great all year. Especially versus the Saints last week, talk about forcing 4 turnovers, really making Drew Brees feel uncomfortable. And then if you look at what the Packers were able to do, I mean, pretty dominant over the LA Rams in their first playoff game. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a real toss-up. It's two teams that are firing on all cylinders really at the same time. I think, like I said, I think it's going to be high scoring. The Packers run defense, I say this every time I talk about the Packers, is always suspect to me. And if playoff Lenny and Ronald Jones can get going, then I think Tampa Bay has a great chance. And then the matchup of Kevin King versus Kevin King and Jair Alexander against Godwin and Evans, and then who do you put on Antonio Brown? Plus you had Cameron Brate, I think was their leading receiver last week against the Saints. So Tom Brady has so many weapons to spread the ball all around the field. I'm going to be curious to see how the Packers respond defensively because, I mean, they're like the number one offense in the NFL, I believe, or one of them. So it's not going to be really hard to not rely on the offense. God, I don't even know what I'm fucking saying tonight. I'm so sorry. So let's move on to something that I know you're very excited for, something that I'm very excited for as well. But watch out, motherfuckers. He is back. Conor McGregor makes his return to the UFC versus Dustin Poirier. I'm just going to let you take the floor to start it off. Give us a little preview of the fight, what you're most looking forward to.
Yeah, so I mean, many listeners may know I'm a huge McGregor fan. But yeah, I mean, he's taken pretty much a year off since the Cowboy fight. I think the 1 year was a week or two ago, so just a little over a year. And he's, from what he says, he's been, nonstop training and perfecting his game. So I think that he's probably going to look the best that we've ever seen him. He kind of went through a rough patch over the past few years, kind of just, I think it's, the money and everything like kind of got to him. And a lot of people may have lost respect for him, but, he seems a lot more humbled, especially after the Khabib loss. He shows a lot more respect towards his opponents. So yeah, it's going to be a great fight. Poirier, I believe he's number 7 pound for pound, but number 2 ranked for lightweight, only behind Gaethje, and Khabib obviously is number 1. And then McGregor is probably, I think, maybe like 4 or 5-ish. So he's right up there with them in the lightweight division. But yeah, I mean, it's, 2 great boxers. So definitely don't think that this fight's going to last very long, regardless of who wins. I think it's probably going to end in a knockout or TKO. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. The whole card is pretty good. There's a few good women fights. The co-main event, Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler, should be a good one. Pretty experienced fighters. So, also in the lightweight division. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's going to be a pretty big card, first of the year. But yeah, I think Khabib is probably going to be there because he said earlier this week, I mean, he's been on Fight Island, and he told Dana White earlier this week in their secret little meeting that he'd be willing to come back for the 30-0 fight, depending on if the lightweights impress him this weekend. So a lot of top-ranked fighters, especially obviously Poirier, McGregor being in the top 5. So yeah, I mean, I hope we get the Khabib McGregor rematch, but I mean, I don't really see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even really know what to think about Khabib McGregor rematch. I think he's just gonna say yes and come back, get the 30-0.
Yeah,
and then
I mean, he wanted to
then just retire again.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to near the end, like kind of leading up to the Gaethje fight. He really wanted to fight St. Pierre, but I mean, Dana White said like last week or 2 weeks ago that fight's just not possible anymore. So I mean, I doubt GSP wants to fight Khabib. He's kind of getting old and probably doesn't want to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the fight that everybody really like wants to see.
Yeah,
him come back.
Which I don't. Which, by the way, I don't think that GSP would get his ass kicked. I mean, he's still one of the greats. I still think he has it in him, but I mean, I think Khabib probably wins that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our NFL preview. That's our quick UFC preview. Ryan has a few UFC picks on his card that we will get into here in just a couple minutes. Before we do that, we will update you on all of our records and all of that good stuff. So overall combined through the year and first 2 weeks of 21, through the first year of 2020, then the first 2 weeks of 2021, we are a combined 207, 164, and 6 plus 28.6 units, bringing you guys winners. Last couple weeks, not so much as far as me goes. So for Ryan, his overall record is now 108, 78, and 2 plus 21.4 units. And then my record now sits at 99, 86, and 4. Couldn't get that one more win to get to 100 wins. You okay there?
Almost still there.
All right. Like I said, in 2021 to start, we're keeping track of separate numbers as well. Not great. 13, 18, and 1, minus 6.5 units if we combine that. Ryan is actually doing not too bad, 9 and 7 plus 0.96 units. Obviously, like to do a little bit better than that, but definitely could be a lot worse. And then myself is just an absolute joke. 4, 11, and 1, minus 7.4 units. So let's update you guys on a little bit of our individual records. We'll go a little bit deeper in the analytics here, hashtag sabermetrics, as we like to do. So in 2021, I am now 2-0 when picking favorites, 0-2 when picking underdogs, 1-1 when picking my overs, 1-1 when picking my unders, 1-1 in my locks, 0-6 in my general picks. Have yet to hit one of those. That's really embarrassing. In the NFL playoffs, I am 3-7-1. My college basketball picks are 0-5. NBA, I'm 1-0. And then Ryan is his favorites, 1-1. Underdogs 1-1, overs 1-1, unders 2-0, locks 1-1. His general picks are 3-3, and then his NFL picks for the playoffs are 7-6. College football, his 2 picks for the national championship game went 2-0 in that. UFC, he is 0-1. So combined 13, 18, and 1, minus 6.5 units. So in 2021, I am down minus 7.4 units. So if you were to put $100 on each one of Ryan and I's bets through these first 2 weeks, with mine, you'd be down $742.10. With Ryan's, you'd be up $96.49 for a grand total of negative $645.61. All time, though, if we get into our all-time records, which are a little bit more impressive, where the meat really is, where you see where we shine. My favorites are 13-11. My underdogs are 12-12. My overs are 12-11-1. Unders are 13-11. My locks of the week are 14-9-1. My other general picks are 37, 32-2. Head-to-head, Ryan and I are dead even 4-4. And then my NFL picks 52-44. 2-3. College basketball, like I said, I am 0-5. UFC, I don't have any UFC picks on my card, but I was 2-2. Ryan, if we go over to him, favorites are 10-14. His underdogs are 14-10. Doesn't know how to pick a winner, but knows how to pick. Well, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't know how to pick the favorite, but can tell you which underdogs can cover the spread any day of the week. His overs are 10-13-1. His unders are unbelievable, folks, at 17-7. Locks are 14-10. Others are 42-25-1. Like I said, Ryan and I are dead even, 4-4 in our head-to-head matchups. His UFC picks so far are 6-5-1. That's through like a year and a couple weeks. Like I said, probably not even a full year because we didn't get a full year of
started around like March or April.
Right. And then college football, Ryan ended at 23-13. And in the NFL, he sits at 57-43-1. Like I said, we are 207, 164-6 overall, plus 28.6 units across all sports. Overall, if you were to put $100 on each one of our bets, you'd be up $2,856.92. If you were to put $100 on each one of my bets individually, you'd be up $716.48. If you were to put $100 on each one of Ryan's bets individually, you'd be up $2,140.44. So let's get into the picks for this weekend. Ryan, I don't even want to talk about last week. I went 3-5. You go 6-2. We'll talk about you going 6-2. You got more winners like that, or were we expecting another heater of a weekend for you?
I mean, I'm hoping so. I mean, my card is a little wild. I mean, we're talking about it a little bit before the show, but the odds are kind of all over the place. There's a few UFC picks. So some are risky. Let's hope that they land. It would be pretty good for the units category. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I will say about my card last week is like I was feeling super great about all my college basketball picks. I was like, I did a little bit of research. I'm like, all right. And I have to tell myself now I can't bet on Rutgers anymore. They started out the season so hot. Now they're 7-6. I think they lost either 4 or 5 games in a row, but just not going well in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not going well for me picking college basketball on this show. So without further ado, let's get into it. Maloney's Moneyline week number 25, bringing you winners because we need the winners ourselves. I will preface this by saying I've been a loser the past 2 weeks, so just fade whatever I say and you'll probably make some money. All right, so Ryan, here we go. You start us off, as always, your first pick of week 25.
All right, my favorite, I'm going Dan Hooker Moneyline versus Michael Chandler in the co-main event of UFC this weekend or tomorrow. I mean, Dan Hooker is 20-9, 10 wins by knockout. Michael Chandler, 21-5, 9 by knockout and 7 by submission. So, I mean, it's going to be a really good co-main event. Could go the distance. I don't know. I mean, it's 3 rounds, I believe. So we'll see, but I'm going to go with the favorite in this matchup. So there it is.
There it is. Hooker Moneyline versus Chandler, minus 136. We'll see how that goes. I will probably be just taking whatever Ryan says as far as UFC goes. Excited to watch the card, though. So my first pick of week 25 is going to be an NBA pick. One thing that I've actually been able to do well. It seems like now that I say that, I'll probably fuck myself over, but I'm taking the Utah Jazz minus 6.5 versus the Golden State Warriors. The Jazz are 10-5 against the spread on the year. They have won their last 5 games. Golden State is 8-7 overall on the season, has been really inconsistent. I'm looking for Utah to keep their win streak going and not smash Golden State, but I think they can cover the 6.5. That is on Saturday, by the way.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much of a difference them being without Clay makes.
Yeah,
I mean, he just changes that team completely when he's healthy. So sucks that he's out, but he'll be back.
He'll be back. Hard-hitting analysis as always from Ryan Maloney. Let's move on to our Scooby-Doo underdog of the week. Ryan, you start us off.
All right. Going Bills Mafia, Bills +3 versus the Chiefs, even money. I might have changed since I got it earlier today, but yeah, when I got it, it was even money. So, I think the Bills could definitely win this game outright. Like you mentioned, they still haven't played their best game. So I'm kind of just looking for them to get that playoff spark and see them just fire on all cylinders. It's going to be a good game, but I'm really pulling for the Bills to make the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs this weekend.
Let's go. So this is also my pick, but I got this line a little bit later, so it's moved. So I have the Bills +3.5 at -117 there versus Kansas City. I'm fully in on the Bills going to the Super Bowl. I love Josh Allen. I love Stephon Diggs. Like I said earlier, I think Sean McDermott has been able to do an incredible job as a head coach in his time in Buffalo. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And God damn it, I cannot wait to see some Bills Mafia reactions if they are able to pull this off. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, hurt or not. And this Kansas City offense is unstoppable at times. It feels like it just can get a first down or get what they need at any time. So I'll be curious to see how this game goes. I mean, I know my eyes will be glued to the television, but yeah, I'm taking the Bills. I think they can cover a field goal for sure. So Bills +3.5 versus Kansas City, -117 is mine. And then Ryan has Bills +3 versus the Chiefs at even money. So let's move on to our overs of the week. You go ahead and start us off.
All right, yeah, I'm sticking with the same game. And you probably got the game after Mahomes was announced that he's playing. So
yeah,
I guess he is worth half a point and some odds change. But yeah, my over, I'm sticking with that game, going over 54. I mentioned it earlier, but, it's obviously two of the great quarterbacks as of now. I think there's going to be a lot of deep balls. So, yeah, keeping it over 54 points. I don't know where I was going with that. I kind of got distracted. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a shootout. So
a lot of deep balls in the shootout. Buffalo, Kansas City, over 54, -110. Like I said, Buffalo is the number 2 offense in the NFL this year. Kansas City is definitely, if not top 5, in the top 10 for sure. I don't have those rankings right in front of me, but I do remember that Buffalo was number 2. So Buffalo, Kansas City, over 54, -110 odds there. Tampa Bay, Green Bay, over 51.5 at -113 is what I'm going to take for my over of the week. I just think this, I don't want to say it's too low because it's in the 50s, but I feel like it could go over here. There are two teams that can move the ball up and down the field. Like I said, Tampa Bay put up 38 points on the Green Bay defense the first time they played. Green Bay is going to have a little vendetta, probably a little extra swagger in their step, defending their home turf. I look for a lot of points to be scored in this Tampa Bay Green Bay game. The Battle of the Bay, or the Bay of Pigs, as Chris Berman would say. So let's move on to our unders of the week. Life's too short to bet the under, but we do it once a week on this show. Ryan, you can start us off.
All right. Should I give my under and my lock since they kind of go together?
If you want, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. That's
I mean, yeah. Just, my under, I'm going McGregor, Poirier under 2.5 rounds. This one, not very good odds, -192. Because, I mean, like I said earlier, whoever wins this, it's probably going to be a short match. Probably expect an early knockout. But, yeah, and then my lock, I'm kind of evening out the bad odds on that. I'm going McGregor by KO, TKO in round 1 at +175. Kind of wild that McGregor by a knockout is still, like, not that great. I think it's, like, -170 or something. So, yeah, I'm taking McGregor in the first round, knockout, TKO, +175.
Totally not biased at all. Ryan's picks. Conor McGregor stand. So McGregor by knockout in round 1, +175. Ryan thinks it's going to end early. And then McGregor, Poirier, under 2.5 rounds. Juice bag there with -192. So I will give my 2 picks in a row since Ryan rudely took 2 turns. Just kidding. It made more sense to do it that way anyways. I'm going back to the NBA for my under. New Orleans and Minnesota, under 223. Or is it? under 223.5. I apologize about that. So Minnesota is 6-7, or unders are 7-6 in Minnesota games this year. I cannot speak. And also, where am I going here? New Orleans, Minnesota. All right. I'm so bad. Minnesota unders are 7-6 on the year. New Orleans unders. I'm sorry. I look at this list. I forget to write it down. New Orleans unders are 6-8, so it's not the best, but Minnesota's just 3-10 on the year. They're really bad. They're not playing super well. I don't know if Karl Anthony Towns is off the COVID list yet, but they have not been scoring a lot of points in their games. So I'm going to take the under here. New Orleans, Minnesota, under 223.5.
Yeah, expect some NBA picks from me probably next week.
Next week. And then my lock of the week, Ryan, you better lock it up. Kansas +1 versus Oklahoma. This is on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. So this one could change. The college basketball lines fluctuate pretty heavily. This was the first one I found online. As Oklahoma is hosting the game, they're 1-point favorites. I'm taking Kansas here. Kansas is a ranked team going into Norman, Oklahoma. And if we look at their records, so Kansas has lost 2 straight. After a loss, they're 2-0 against the spread. As an away underdog, they're 2-0 against the spread. Just as an away team in general, they're 3-1. And then if you look at Oklahoma, who I believe has won 2 in a row, after a win, they are 1-5 against the spread. So I'm going to try to ride that trend here. I'm taking Kansas. I'm going to rely on the ranked team and Bill Self's toupee to go into Norman and pull off the upset. I don't know what the exact money line odds are. I couldn't find those just yet. I just have the spread at 1. Like I said, I'm sure it'll fluctuate by the time all the games end tonight and they start to post the lines for tomorrow's games. But that is going to be my lock it up, Ryan. You better lock it up. The Kansas Jayhawks, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, +1 versus the Oklahoma Sooners at -110 odds currently. So we go to your lock of the week. No, you just gave me your lock of the week. We go to our general picks of the week. We each have 3 general picks. I have yet to hit one of those in 2021. Should probably point that out, but keep on chugging and try again. So we'll start with yours, my friend.
All right, I'm going Bucks +3 versus the Packers at +106. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to pick both NFL games this week, and I can't pick the Packers. I mean, I've picked them too many times this year, and I just hate doing it. So I'm sticking with Tom Brady, the GOAT, and going Bucks +3 versus the Packers.
Bucks +3. Yeah, so this was another game you got a little bit before me because I have Bucks +3.5 versus Green Bay at -1.
I mean, I'm using FanDuel, so maybe FanDuel is just different. I don't know.
It might be. I mean, different books, they have different things. So,
yeah.
But I actually like the half a point that I'm getting here. I don't mind the -117 because it'll be easier for them to cover. It won't be a push if they do lose by 3. So we'll see how that goes. But we're both in the same boat here. Fuck the Packers. I'm sorry. I just don't want to see them in the Super Bowl.
No.
So let's move on to our gross. So your next pick, my friend.
All right. I'm sticking in the same game, going Bucks Packers over 52. I think you had this on your card earlier, maybe a little bit different total, but yeah, I mean, I agree. It's going to be definitely a high scoring game. 2 of the best offenses in the league. So, yeah, I'm definitely liking 53 points being scored in this game. So hopefully it'll be good. I mean, Bucks put up, like you said, 38 earlier. I think the final score is 38-10. So, I mean, if the Packers can just get a few more touchdowns, then we'll be good.
We'll be good. Tampa Bay, Green Bay over 52. Yeah, so everything I got in the few hours I did my picks probably after you, they all moved half a point. So let's move on. So mine, seeing red, baby. The Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, +9 versus the LA Lakers tomorrow night, Saturday. So the Bulls are 10-4 against the spread. That is a league best right now. And currently they're playing the Charlotte Hornets. They're up by 10. Obviously, you never know with the Bulls if they're going to blow that or not. If the lead holds, they would be covering again because they were underdogs. I think Charlotte was -3 going into the game. So they'd move to 11-4. Either way, they're going to be 10. The worst they're going to be is 10-5 going into tomorrow against the spread. The last time they played the Lakers, they played them incredibly close. I look for them to go for some revenge and cover the 9 points. That is my seeing red pick of the week.
Love it. Haven't watched a single Bulls game yet this year. I got to get back into them.
I've watched bits and pieces. I haven't watched the full game from start to finish. So let's move on to your last pick of the week, my friend.
All right. Yeah, this is the last one with kind of crazy odds. I'm going Amanda. I think her name is Ribas, or I don't know. I never know how to say UFC fighters' names. They're always pretty crazy. But Amanda Ribas by submission versus Marina Rodriguez at +290. So definitely some bang for your buck if you hit on it. But yeah, I mean, Amanda Ribas is 10-1, and 4 of those 10 wins have been by submission. So looking for her to get her 5th, and should be a good one.
Oh God, I'm loving the stats you're pouring out this week, Ryan. God, I am aroused. Ribas by submission versus Rodriguez +290. Like you said, those are great odds there, especially. I might have to take this. Like I said, I'm just going to follow whatever Ryan says. So my last pick of the week, another college basketball pick. I'm going against the team that fucked me over last week. UConn +7 versus the Creighton Blue Jays. Creighton has now lost 2 games in a row, and UConn is pretty hot. They are ranked for the first time this year. James Bouknight has been awesome for the Huskies and Dan Hurley. I'm taking UConn to cover. I think that's just too many points in a Big East Conference game, especially with Creighton's shaky performances the last 2 times out on the floor. So that, I mean, of course, as soon as I say that, they'll probably fucking blow them out. But we'll see. UConn +7. That's my last pick of the week. Hopefully I get a college basketball win this week. Hopefully I get fucking at least even, or let's go. I need to go positive. I need to go on a heater. I need to bring wins for the people. I mean, I guess if I suck, they could just start fading me, and that'll work out too. So this has been Maloney's Money Line, week number 25 on the Brew Party podcast. Another live stream, video only. Video is available now on Facebook at the Brew Party podcast. On our YouTube, just search the Brew Party. Or, excuse me, on our Twitter or Periscope at the Brew Party. You can find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, wherever you get your podcast. The Brew Party is there, or just go to www.thebrewparty.com. You can find all of our episodes, all of our social media links, and then we'll have the graphic with all of our picks out on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook out in a few hours shortly with all the picks on it. And then stay tuned next week. We're going to be doing something very special with Ryan for episode 50 of the Brew Party podcast, with the Maloney's Money Line being on Fridays. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to stay up all Friday night editing. I have other shit to do. So we might be doing some more just videos, but Ryan will definitely be involved in episode 50 next week for Maloney's Money Line, week number 26. Going to be something special, folks. Episode 50. Can't believe we are here. Can't believe I've still doing this. Can't believe anybody's watching or listening. Ryan, thank you so much for being here, my friend. You are beautiful and a better gambler than I am. Any closing thoughts on the weekend? What is Conor McGregor about to do to Dustin Poirier?
Yeah, I mean, it's on my card. First round knockout. Surprise, surprise. The king is back.
Surprise, fucking prize. The king is back. The Brew Party is back. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much for joining us on Maloney's Moneyline, week number 25. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Turn those notifications on so you know when we go live. Follow us on Twitter. Some fuck keeps following and unfollowing us, so we keep hitting 200 and then going to 199. So somebody help us get over. Instagram, we're doing great. Everything's great. The Brew Party podcast. Thanks for being here. Ryan, we're out. knockout round 1 from Ryan O'Connor. Had to squeeze that in at the end. All right, we're really out.